Hello, everyone. It's lovely to see you all again. And I'm very pleased to have Hazel Warwick here today, who is, I know her as a yoga specialist, and I'm very interested in how she can help you and me to improve our agility and our strength and our general well-being. So let's dive in and find out more about what you do then, please, Hazel. How are you? And can you start off by telling us everything that you can offer?
Hello, Victoria. It's nice to see you again. Seems ages since I've spoken to you. Nice to see everybody out there. And yeah, my yoga, I just love the yoga because I feel that yoga keeps, if you can commit yourself to 1 week, one session a week at least, yoga can keep you healthy, help to keep you healthy. And it doesn't matter about your own ability because you work with what you are. It's not a matter of, oh, I've got to be this and I've got to be that before I can even start yoga. The idea is that you do yoga to improve your health. And it does, it improves it will improve your immunity system, your
Mhm.
flexibility, your strength, and also your feeling of well-being. It really is a good place to be. Practice yoga regularly, you'll find that you take a new dimension in life. You find yourself being more patient and
Mm.
more tolerant of other people. You
Mm.
find that you can cope with the other jobs that felt stressful to be a lot easier.
Mm. And how long have you been doing this then? Because I've known you nearly about 10 years, and you haven't changed a bit. You still look really good. You're still doing the same things. So, what got you into yoga, and how do you feel that it's transformed you?
Many years ago, in fact, when I was a young girl, I found it on the television. There was a man called Richard Hesselman, and he used to teach yoga on the television, which of course was the old-fashioned Zoom. And so I joined him as a young woman when my children were small, and that was 19 in the 60s anyway. Back in the 60s when everything was all coming about, we was beginning to understand yoga in those days because it was kept a bit of a closed shop before then. In Asia, they sort of didn't want to share it with the rest of the world, but fortunately for us, it has been shared, and now we have the ability to use it and enjoy it. And I noticed recently they're talking about the vagus nerve. Well, the vagus nerve is the longest nerve in your body, and the yogis have been working with it about 6,000 years, but to our knowledge of 2,000 years, but for forever. And it really calms the body and helps you to be at one within yourself. You can
Mm.
also, I believe that yoga not only calms the body, calms your mind, and helps you communicate with other people in a comfortable way. I've got one lady who comes to my class and she says, my husband insists I go to yoga because I'm so much nicer when I've been. So it's not only on the mat, it
Mm.
comes off of the mat into your life
Mm.
and it helps.
Mm. And did that help you when you were younger? Obviously, you're at home with children, it's busy
Well, I
time.
was at home with children and I went on all the different journeys that we did through that generation. We tried aerobics, step classes, the gym, all those things. I went on all the different journeys. I didn't just concentrate on the yoga all the way through. But fortunately for me, I've come back to yoga.
Mm.
In fact, it was my granddaughter that brought me back because she said, Nan, I want to go and train to be a yoga teacher.
Oh.
What do you think of this course? So I looked at it and I went, oh, that looks amazing. May
Mm.
I join you? And she was so pleased for me to join her. And what a lovely
Mm.
thing for two generate well, with the
Yeah.
split generation to do
Mm.
together. And it
Mm.
was amazing. We trained together and we worked together. So it's really fun.
Yeah, that's an unexpected outcome, isn't it? So that's explains then really it's for all generations and all body types and like you
Exactly.
say, wherever you are, if you've had injuries or operations, etc., you take that into account. But if you've never done yoga before, where would you start?
Well, if you come along to a yoga session with us or with me, um, you you can have your workout tailored to you a bit. So if I can see that you're having problems getting up and down off the floor, I would sort of think about how to get you to move to help you get up and down off the floor. And if
Mm.
you can't get down, up and down off the floor, I also teach chair yoga.
Oh
So
yes,
there's,
yes,
I
yes.
have options even in the yoga style I teach. I do
Oh.
chair yoga, hatha yoga, which is the one that people think of the normal standing yoga,
Okay.
and which is slow and meaningful. I don't like fast and furious yoga because my thinking is yoga is a calming thing. So I don't want to dash about with it. I want to calm it. And when you get into a position and then you hold your position for a little while, it allows the muscles to relax within that position. And then they get used to holding it.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, just beautiful. And
Mm.
then the yin yoga is a different thing altogether. It's all done on the floor and you hold the position for 5 minutes there.
Wow.
And it's so restful for the whole body because every
Mm.
nerve in your body has its own, every nerve and every cell in your body, it has its own life within. So if you can teach your cells and your nervous system and everything within your body to cope with you with inside, and when you go into yin yoga, you lay in the position and you can feel the movement within your body, and it's
Mm.
absolutely magical. And of course then you've got the fascia that runs throughout your body. Every cell, every organ, every muscle has a fascia wrapped round it. And so if
Mm.
you don't keep moving, it can tighten up and then cause pain. So
Mm.
by moving, it just helps these things.
Mm. I found when I started yoga, I'm not doing it at the moment, I must admit, but um, I started yoga when I was about 14, just from a book in my bedroom. And one of the experiences I had was a little bit spiritual, and I did a meditation at the end of it. But the other aspect was that I found that I elongated because if I, just for example, if you can't touch your toes, when you've been doing yoga for a very short while, or even within that movement, you just find where everything relaxes, everything just relaxes and extends, and you can breathe into that movement, and you can go much further than you want to. And it actually changed my mindset because
Yes.
although I was a young person, I was conditioned to thinking that if you didn't exercise and do rigorous sort of, my father used to do army training workouts with us from his army days. And I was taught that if you didn't build muscle and strength and you didn't have this aggressive kind of fitness all the time, that you would deteriorate. And what I found, I suppose I had in my mind that the body was fixed, like you say. It was, you think this is it, and you've just got to maintain it. I didn't realize that you could actually move with it and use it, and it would take you further than you thought possible. So it changed my mindset about what was possible. What you
Yes.
see and feel is not necessarily what it actually could be. And that
It
changed
isn't
me as
what
a
it
young
has to
person.
be. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You can, when your mindset changes, your mindset changes, you become, oh, and the breathing, I mean, the breath work to work, it naturally comes with yoga. So you must breathe with your yoga. And as you rightly said there, is if you go into a position and then you take another breath and then let it out gently, you'll go into a further position. It just goes that little bit more. And
Mm.
it's magical, really. I just find it so magical. And I know that I will do it till
Oh,
till the till I
yeah,
pass on. I will
yeah.
all the time I live and have air in my body, I will do it in some form because if I become not as capable as I am now, I can still do some movement
Mm.
that will keep
I
me
think
going.
it's very important anyway for older people, or people recovering from some sort of injury or disease, that you keep agile and you can move and breathe and reach that plug behind the television or whatever it is. But
Yeah,
I did Tai Chi for a while, and I have a morning routine, and I've always done the same things and incorporate some yoga and some Tai Chi and things like that. But it is based on that breathing and extension and calmness. And I
yeah.
can hear in your voice, Hazel, that you change when you're talking about yoga. It's very enticing, actually. I hope everybody's listening to Hazel talking as she's describing yoga, because you can hear how Hazel teaches. That's lovely. Mm,
Yeah, and at the end of a class, well, I normally do a moment at the beginning of the class to calm people down because obviously they've all rushed in from work, maybe
yeah.
with the children or maybe with husband indoors that needs attention or whatever, and out they come to do their yoga, enjoying something for their self. And it's so important to give time to ourselves.
Mm,
Um, a lot of people are so caring and so lovely, which is great. I'm all for encouraging caring and being loving. Um, but you must take that little bit of time out for yourself where you then have got the energy to give back to the people that you need to love and care for.
mm,
And it is important. You are important because if you lose your energy, and by coming to yoga, you're actually going to invigorate yourself. It's I mean, I
yeah.
just love it so much. I don't know. I
Well,
just
I
want to
think
keep saying it.
it's the opposite. I always find there's a paradox in things. You come to do some work, and yet you actually unwind and feel more relaxed. Whereas if you go to the gym, you actually feel invigorated in a more empowering way, and it's a more physical, dynamic way. Whereas with yoga, it's more of a inner sense of
In a piece.
self-being. Yeah. So
Yeah.
how do your classes work? What are you offering? How can people join you? And what
Well,
would
if
they?
people would like
Mm,
to come to my class, I do one down at the Inn on the Lake at 10 o'clock every Thursday morning.
so you do
And
a
I do
morning one.
chair yoga first, and then the second one is Hatha Yoga. And I'm willing to start up a Yin Yoga, but I haven't started that one down there yet. But I would do that if I get the demand.
Okay, so the Inn on the Lake is what we used to call a motel, but it's a hotel on the A2 coming from London to Dover, or Dover to
Yes.
London. So it's a very easy place to find, isn't it? With good
It's
facilities.
I find it's easier to get to mine. I find it easier to get to than some of the in-town stuff because when people have got to come in town, they have problem parking, etc. Whereas the Inn on the Lake, they can just drive in, park up, and come in,
Mm.
peaceful straight away.
Yes, yeah. Well, I can understand that. Yes,
Yeah.
and so how do people contact you? Can we have your email address or website address so that they can contact you?
Email would be good. Hazel Warwick at AOL.com. So easy to remember.
Yeah, Hazel
Yeah.
Warwick. That's
WRICK.
WARWICK. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's lovely. I'll put that in the comments. But so what kind of motivation do people have to come to you? What kind of help are you giving in sense of illness or barriers to being healthy? What kind of issues do people come with you to you with?
Well, sometimes they've come, they might have had a hip replacement on one side and now
Oh,
they need to get mobile again. And
yeah,
and so they come along and they would probably join in on the chair yoga, maybe to start with, and then progress on to the other yoga. Or they may come into the hatha yoga and just fit in where they can because I can, as I say, I will adapt for what people need, really. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And
And what
maybe,
about mental health and well-being? Do people come to you who have depression or any
yeah,
kind of problems in the
yes,
mental
they
health,
do.
anxiety? Mm,
Yeah, if we get people that come with anxiety and mental health problems, I have found in the past that they find me welcoming and relaxing for them, so they don't feel frightened to come in my class. They come and they go, "Are you Hazel?" very shyly, and I go, "Yes,
yeah.
I am. Come along," and then they're welcomed in, because I welcome anybody that would love to do it because I feel that mental health, physical health, all benefits from the yoga.
I can see all kinds of reasons why people might come to you for yoga.
Yeah, yeah. And I also teach in Dartford for the community. I'm in a community one in Dartford
Mhm.
on a Tuesday night at 6 and 7 at the Estate.
Yes.
And that can help people. And it's
Yeah.
7:45 on Thursdays.
Right. So you do more evenings than mornings. So it's
I
more
do,
for
yeah.
people at the end of the day.
Yeah, which of course, when they come in from work, it's good for them. And so that at those ones, of course, you're getting a more wider age group within the class.
Mm,
Whereas in the
mm.
daytime ones, you may it'd be mums with young children that haven't maybe gone back to work yet, or older people that need to get moving because they find it difficult getting it in and out of the car or up the stairs, or
Yeah.
you know, you know how it goes.
Well, it's good because, in the old days, previously, you were left with that idea that that was aging and that was, you just had to expect that to happen and that would be your lot. That we didn't have this opportunity or this mindset that you could improve your health and still, even at 70 or 80, still keep improving. You don't have to stay with what you've got. You can work with the illnesses or arthritis, etc. You can work with them, can't you? So it is a different age. So we're quite fortunate to have you then.
You. The other thing I always get them doing is like finger movements because when
Oh,
arthritis sets in, you seem to
mm.
notice it in your hands more because they're right in front of you, aren't they? So I get them to do finger exercises because if you keep the synovial fluid moving, it
Mm.
helps with arthritis and it helps to avoid it.
Mm.
So that's another important thing with yoga is to keep the synovial fluid moving.
Yeah, I like that you talk in technical terms in sense of biology, that you're quite learned. I mean, sometimes people have the assumption that it's just a kind of like anybody can do it. You just go along to a few classes and you can set up and teach. But teaching alone is a skill, isn't it? Communication. And just the knowledge that you've got about the body and how it works is impressive. When I've spoken to you, it's impressive. Mm.
Yeah, I have studied anatomy and physiology 3 times actually because I studied to become a therapist. 1999, I started the journey as a therapist, or bodywork journey, if you like to think of it that
Mm.
way. And I
Mm.
started as a therapist in 1999, and that was my first anatomy and physiology I had to learn. That
Mm.
was interesting. And then I decided to be a personal trainer. Oh, we've got to go and do anatomy physiology yet again.
Yes.
And then I wanted to be a yoga teacher. So I had to do anatomy and physiology again. So I've studied my muscles and my nerve system so much. But I find the body so interesting.
Mm.
Let me just show you what I actually have
Yes.
because I'm
Yeah.
so interested in the body. I'm even interested in
Uh-huh.
the inside of the body.
Well, it is the internal organs that need massaging as well, isn't it, when you're doing these movements? But
Exactly.
you must also have an interest in modern science then, in modern research, modern interests, the
Yeah,
way
I'm
things
always
move.
reading. Yeah, always
Mm.
reading about things and improving my knowledge because I think it's important because it's no good just saying, "Oh, this is what I am and here I am," and then it stops at that level on that plane. I need
Yeah.
to I need to always be learning so I can share my knowledge with my people and help them more, really.
Mm. Mm. I was just going to say there's certain trends, aren't there? Certain trends about, I mean, at the moment, as you said, the vagus nerve is very important. It's talked about a lot. It's referred to a lot, as well as diet and understanding how the cells work and how your insulin works. And I think people these days are far more educated than they realise.
I think people are um it is drip fed to them one way or another from either on the radio,
Mm,
on the television, or conversation with other people because we are generally learning and wanting to know about the body. The
mm,
other thing I feel is worth mentioning here is when people put on weight, I want to go, I'm going to go to class and I'm going to lose that weight. Yes, it won't happen in a week, but if you have the idea, it took me 3, 4 years to put all this weight on, and now I need to get rid of it. So give yourself a bit of time. Yes, it probably won't take 3 or 4 years to go, providing you eat correctly and exercise, but
mm,
don't be impatient with yourself. Have patience and let it go naturally.
mm. So when you say eat correctly, what do you think is one of the most important things to watch with the diet for most people generally?
I think it's really important that people think about their nutrition. They don't just eat because they're hungry. They think, oh, I am hungry, or I'm going to be hungry at 12 o'clock. What shall I have for lunch? And then think, I need protein in it. I need carbs, minerals. So you don't just go and grab something and eat it. You think, what am I going to eat? And ideally, cook it for yourself.
Mm.
I've got somebody listening to me very closely here. Can you see?
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
And but if the thing is, it's difficult for working people, I agree. But if you choose the day to do some baking, or not, I'm not baking, but cooking,
Like
cooking all
batch cooking and things
your
like that.
nutritious food up. And I
Mm.
mean, I cook a curry, but I live on my own, so I don't want a curry for every night of the week. So I cook my curry, I freeze some, and then next week I haven't got to cook it. I can get it out when I've got another dinner, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. It's
I
planning,
think
isn't it? Planning,
it's
planning
planning.
your classes and planning your whole life experience. Yeah. Can I just ask you then? I know that you do some health with the face and beauty because you look beautiful. I know you're a very
Oh,
attractive woman anyway, but you still look. I mean, up close, everybody, she still looks wonderful.
thank you.
But you help with the muscles, with the tightening of the muscles of the face, don't you? How does that work?
That's with the Kanza wand. I've got a Kanza wand that I use for that, and it's got a copper top to it, well, copper and mixed metals, and then you massage your face with it, and it tones the face. It's really lovely. It's a nice
Mm.
massage anyway. It feels nice, but it does good as well.
Yeah, I think Kanza wands are incredible if you use them correctly. So, do you help people to understand the best movements to
Yeah,
use them with? There's
I,
no
I, I
point buying it off the internet and then not really knowing what pressure or how to use it.
no, I do training classes for the use of the Kanza ones.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they're
yeah,
beautiful. They're actually beautiful to look at and to hold on. They're very tactile and
yeah. They
sensual.
are. They are. I wish I
Yeah.
had one by me at the moment to show you.
Yeah. Do you can you use them on the other parts of the body, on the arms and legs?
Yes, they
Oh,
come in different sizes. A smaller one for the face and a nice big one for going under the foot. Oh, that's lovely
oh, under
because
the foot.
well, and the whole body. You've got all different size ones to do your
Right.
massage with of a body and face and
Mm.
under the foot. But of course, under
And
the foot because there's all the reflexes in the feet, isn't there?
yeah.
That's why I mentioned that because I do reflexology anyway. And but when you massage it with the Cancer ones, it's amazing. And when
Mm.
I'm doing chair yoga, I tend to get them once I get if I can get them to cross their leg over, I get them to massage it underneath of their foot. Does feel
Oh,
nice.
yes. Yeah, I think it's a neglected part of the body, the foot. And
And
we
yet so used.
yeah, well, it's our balance and everything, isn't it? And balance is one of the issues that people need to maintain their well-being with, and so they don't injure themselves later, especially the elderly. High blood pressure and all those things can lead to swooning and dizziness, and you need to have good balance, don't you?
Yep, yoga definitely helps because if you're doing the full body yoga, you're working your feet, and that even includes on the chair yoga. I get them all doing feet exercises, which we do neglect our feet a lot, but I get them to do feet exercises so that the feet are active instead of
Mm.
becoming just like solid blocks. And
Yeah.
then and so we do feet exercises, but also if someone's doing chair yoga with me, that doesn't mean they're sitting on the chair for the whole class. It will mean that they're sitting on the chair for most of the class, but they will walk around the back of the chair and put their hands on the chair, and then we will do some balancing on one
Oh,
foot. But
mm.
as you walk, you're balancing from one foot to the other all the time. So if your balance goes a bit off, you're going to get a bit like this, aren't you? A bit
Mm,
wobbly.
mm,
So
mm,
it is important, the balance.
mm.
So yes, it's yeah, well, as I say, I
Yeah,
love it. I just love it from my
yeah.
heart, and I teach from my heart.
I know
You know,
you do. Yeah, I know you, and you're always enthusiastic and helpful. So thank you very much. Thank you for sharing that. So obviously, everyone that is here today, Hazel is local to Gravesend, just outside London in North Kent. She's got her group on the A2 at the Inn on the Lake, which heads towards Dover or up to London. And she works in Dartford near Bluewater Shopping Mall. So you can find her on the map if you want to come down. If you'd like to chat with her, I'll put the details in there and it's Hazel Warwick at AOL, was it? .com?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so if you've got any questions or you'd like Hazel to come along when you're in the vicinity, not too far away, she'll come along and do some work with you. And thank you, Hazel. Well, you're going to say something?
Yeah, I do one-to-one if people want it.
Hmm.
And also, if any groups want me to go and talk to their group, some of the
Yes.
groups that are in the areas where I
Yeah.
am, I'm happy to come along and personally talk to the group and, so you work within your own range of
Mm,
movement and we can adapt the movements to suit what your
mm,
range of movement is.
mm. Personally, I like one-to-one. I think one-to-one is great, and then join a group. Or it's a bit like playing tennis or golf or anything. You at some point you need someone to really work with your body and get it straight, especially if you've had long ongoing problems with movement and mobility. It's probably best to get an assessment from you first. But so thank you very much, Hazel. Any wisdom?
Get out of bed and say thank you for your day.
Oh,
When I go to bed, I say good night, whatever day I'm on. And when I get up in the morning, I say good morning because I've been given the gift of another day.
yeah, that's lovely. And that is so true. Yeah. Well, thank you very much then, Hazel. And I'll say goodbye to everybody and see you again soon. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Victoria. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Hazel.